This is a review for the Kipon autofocus 0.7x speed booster for Canon EF lenses to micro four thirds mount. So let's take a look. This is what you get right out of the box from Kipon, and take it out. As you can see, it comes with a Canon front body cap and a back micro four thirds lens cap. Alright. Just from the build, you can see right away that it has a very nice full metal construction with the very clear, crystal clear glass in it that does speed booster work, and it also has electronics in the adapter to transfer all the autofocus and image stabilization data from the lenses to the camera. So let's put it on my trusty Panasonic G7. Also on the side, there's a micro USB port, if you can, I think you can see it, and for potential firmware updates. I ordered this, $1 rubber cover to cover it from the dust. And as you can see, it fits very nicely on a Panasonic G7. It also comes with a tripod mount that come with it's integrated in the adapter, so anytime you want to mount a heavy lens on it, you know that you can mount it right in the middle, so it's very nicely balanced, and you're not worried about like having a huge lens in front of the camera mount. So the biggest reason to get this is for the features it has. It basically does 95% of what the Metabones speed booster does, as far as I know, and it only costs around $400. That is huge for anyone who needs the autofocus adapting feature with a speed booster, but also don't want to break the bank with a 650 speed booster from Metabones. But the real question is it good enough to use it as a Metabone alternative? So let's try it out. For anyone who doesn't know what this adapter does, so it basically takes a image from you get from a full frame glass, and shrink it to a 0.7x crop factor, and with a 2x crop factor you have on the micro four thirds sensor, it will behave more like a 1.4 cropped image in the full frame term. So you get much wider shot as well as an additional stop of light, and that is going to be huge for anyone who wants to shoot more low light work and get a more shallow depth of field on a micro four thirds body. And personally, I've loved using this with the Sigma R lenses. I know it is advertised to work on all the Canon EF lenses, but those lenses are not cheap. However, Sigma makes some impressive prime lenses and zooms, fast prime and zooms for APS-C sensors, or you can use their full frame glasses if you have any. And you see it on the body. It's a 30mm R lens for Canon, and it is designed for APS-C, but it actually covers the full frame image circle, and it works perfectly with this adapter on the micro four thirds body, and you wouldn't have any vignetting in the corners in 4K and 1080p, even in photo, and that's just amazing. This setup you see right here is only costing around $800, and it gets you basically close to full frame without. When you times the 30mm by the 2x crop and then by the 0.7x speed booster effect, it behaves like a 42mm on a full frame. With additional a stop of light you get from the 1.4, you're getting the exposure of f10, so you can get very shallow depth of field with this lens. Now on the 30mm Sigma lens, we're doing a little autofocus test. As you can see, it is very impressive with all the Sigma R lenses, because I've also tested with most popular lens, the 18 to 35 that is always used with Metabones speed booster. The autofocus, it's equally as fast. That pretty much goes all the way across the Sigma R line. That I've tested with the new 85 art in the demo event last week, with the 12 to 24 art, with the 50mm art, with the 35mm art. They all perform pretty amazingly in the autofocus area, and it works pretty much like a native lens. I would use it for portraits, no problem, and for any shootings, and maybe except sport and fast action tracking, and it works just fine at AFS mode. And also you get a full aperture control here, as you can see. It only shows that it goes down to 1.4, which is actually the lowest this camera can show. That's because even though it's only showing 1.4, it is actually 1.0 in terms of exposure, because I have tested this at f1.7 with the native Panasonic f1.7, and it is actually brighter than the Panasonic, so the speed booster works no problem for sure. And when you mount a 2.8 lens on it, it will only show 2.8, but it is actually brighter and than the actual 2.8. It behaves more like a 2.2, 2.0, and with the 1.4, although it shows only 1.4, it behaves like a 1.0 lens. And I'll put up some sample footage as well. And now we're going to test it on a Canon 50 lens, 50mm STM, the Nifty 50. The autofocus, it's a little more noisy than what you get on the Sigma lens, and sometimes I find it to hunt just a little bit more than the Sigma lens, like right there. Otherwise, it would just take a little bit more time to get the correct focus. But usually with it, the focus is pretty accurate in all the photo work that I do. And with video, you're not going to get continuous autofocus with this, but you can still use single point AF to set up your shots. And with the manual focus function on the Panasonic cameras are so good, with all the focus peaking and the magnifying function. There's no problem using this just in manual focus for video, which is what I do mostly. And especially with the Sigma lens, the nice focus ring, it is a very pleasant experience using it with the Sigma lens. Alright, my final pros and cons for this, I would say that if video autofocus is a must for you, this lens, this adapter won't do the job. Neither will the more expensive, speed booster. But if you're looking at Metabones speed booster with the autofocus function, I think this is a better deal. It saves you over $200, and it just does basically what the Metabones does. It supports AF. The AF is fast and snappy with the Sigma R lenses I have tested. It would be great to use it with the 18 to 35 R. It would be great to use it with the Canon L lenses. The image stabilization works. You can get aperture control. You can get the metadata from the lens. At least what lens you're using, you'll be able to know later in Lightroom or something. And yeah, it is pretty amazing. Kipon just started selling this at the beginning of the year, and I saw nobody bought it, but when I look at the spec, it has all the things I need, and so far I've been very happy with it. And I will be posting a little more sample footage with it, and let me know what you guys think.